Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about the long run. You're going to hear a Facebook Live I did in my free Facebook group.
This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury-prone Run Disney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line.
Hey, how's it going? I am so excited to talk about the long run today. If you are here live, let me know if you can hear me. It's been a while since I've done a Facebook Live directly through Facebook, so I'm hoping you can hear me. We are talking about your Run Disney training, fixing your long run so that you can finish without pain. We are going to talk about how to approach the long runs without being wrecked after, what not to do, even if it's in your training plan, and how to adjust if you're behind or hurting. Okay? Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Allie. For those of you who do not know me yet, I am a physical therapist and a Run Disney run coach, specifically for runners who are slow, back of the pack, injury prone, not really a runner kind of runner. I believe that all paces are welcome, and I'm here to help people keep training, keep running, keep moving, and being active no matter what your running history is, whether you're new or experienced, what your injury history is, because most runners have had some kind of ache, pain, or actual injury limiting them from continuing on doing what they're doing. And we are all welcome here. So I want to make sure that you can do your long run without it making you down for the count for days and days and days afterward, and make it so that you stay motivated and consistent to train. Because these races that we do at Run Disney, they're long. You have your challenges, like your 10K and your half marathon challenges. That's 2 days in a row. Not even mentioning Dopey, 4 days in a row, early morning wake ups, 4 days of running and training for those for months on end. The typical training plan for a marathon or Dopey, you're doing this for 6 months. You could do anything for a week, right? You could do anything for 30 days, but being able to stay consistent and motivated for all of those long runs, which could be hours and hours long, there are ways to make it so that you stay motivated and want to keep training so that you can finish those races. So that is what we are talking about today. Okay. So, let's get into what most runners get wrong about long runs so that you know what to avoid. And there is no harm, no foul. You don't know what you don't know, right? If if I don't tell you this, or if somebody doesn't tell you this, you're not going to know, because these mistakes happen all the time. They're in the typical Run Disney training plan. You know, that training plan that you can download from Run Disney itself. Some of these mistakes are included in those training plans. So it's no fault of yours if you are doing these things. But if you're noticing, oh, that's me, I'm totally doing that, I'm going to show you and tell you how to fix that so you don't keep doing that. Okay? So the first mistake is following the generic training plan that increases too quickly. That's mistake number one. Mistake number two, trying to hit the same pace every single week and every single run. Mistake number three, making up missed long runs. It happens. Life gets lifey. Making up those missed long runs is a mistake. Next one, believing that soreness or pain after a long run is just part of the process. And using long runs to prove your fitness instead of building your fitness. Okay, so those are the top 5 mistakes that I see Run Disney runners make. And now let's talk about how to avoid those. So, following that generic training plan, it increases too quickly. Now, what's too quickly? Don't get me wrong, those training plans are fine for some runners, okay? For some runners. Those are fine for somebody who has been running for years and is able to add miles and miles and miles. For the newer runners, runners coming back from an injury, runners who it's not their whole life. Like, I don't know about you, but running, it's not my whole life. My dog is my whole life. I guess my husband is in there too. Sorry, Royal, if you're listening. But running's not my whole identity. It's not my whole life. So I don't eat, sleep, and breathe running. So the other training plans, they could be good for that person. And those training plans, they increase by 1 to 2 miles every long run, which if you're already running 10 miles, 15 miles, or 20 miles, that's fine. That could be fine if you're already running that distance for your longest run. But if you're thinking, I do that kind of long run, few and far between. I do that when I have to because it's on the training plan. And if you're training for the marathon on Dopey, those miles start coming after Wine and Dine. So we're talking November, December, leading up to the marathon, Goofy, or Dopey. You're not doing them now in July. So if you are now in July and you're adding 1 to 2 miles every long run, it's way too much. And it will be fine for about 6 weeks, maybe 8. So we're talking a month and a half, maybe 2 months that it will be fine. But when you're training for a marathon or Dopey, you still have 4 more months of training. And if stuff hits the fan at 2 months in, what are you going to do for those other 4 months? So increasing too quickly. So instead of adding 1 to 2 miles, follow the 10% rule. The 10% rule says you increase by no more than 10% every week. And the way I lay it out in my training plans is I make that mileage be the long run because the other workouts, those are time-based and they're speed-based. So it would be inconsistent to be able to increase based on including that mileage. So for ease, it's easy to just look at the long run and say, okay, first long run is 3.1 miles. Next long run is 3.41 miles. That's 10% more than the previous week. It's so little that your body barely notices you've done any more, right? Like, have you ever gotten to the run and you're like, oh my God, I have to do 7 miles today? Oh, okay. Here we go. Getting myself psyched up. 7 miles. Gotta do it. Gotta push through. When 5 miles last week was miserable because the week before was 3 miles and you've jumped 2 miles every week and it's just overwhelming. And then you're not going to want to go for the run because you're already starting from a place of overwhelm. But when you look at training plan and you see 3.1 miles and the next week is 3.41 miles, oh, I could totally do that. That's not even half a mile more. I could totally do that. That's down the street. That's to Susie's house and back. I could totally do it. And it makes it more manageable. It's a blip on the radar. So your motivation is there because you're like, oh God, I could totally do that. I could whip that out, no problem. The next mistake we talked about was trying to hit the same pace every week and every long run. One of the things that hurts my heart to see is when somebody is posting or saying over and over again, hit a new PR on my newest long run. hit a new pace, and I went further. So we don't want to do two things at once. That's changing too many variables. For anybody who's good at science in high school, college, maybe you work in a field that still uses science, we change one variable at a time so we don't go farther and faster each week for one. So that's regarding pace, but also don't try and hit the same pace every single run. Each run in the week should have a specific pace designated to it. And today we're talking about long run, so I'm just going to talk about the pace for a long run. Pace for a long run should be easy. In other words, it should be slow. Snail's pace is perfect. And you're probably thinking, I can't go any slower. I invite you to think about how you're orienting your intervals with your running and see if there's a way that you could go slower. Maybe you can't. Maybe you are absolutely going the slowest of the slow. You are the sloth of the group. No problem. Then you are already hitting it. But aim to go a super duper slow pace on your long runs. So then you only change one variable each week. You're going farther. You're not changing your pace. Okay? Next mistake, making up missed runs. There are no makeups. No makeups. Okay? You can repeat the week. The way training plans that I write are laid out, there are deload weeks every 5 to 6 weeks. So let's say you missed week 3 of training. Okay, fine, no problem. When your next long run rolls around, do week 3's long run instead of week 4's long run. And you basically just shift the whole training plan to your current schedule. When you hit that next when you hit that next deload week, delete it and basically catch up at that point. That's one of the reasons deload weeks are factored into the training plans that I write. Life happens. Life gets lifey, and sometimes you just can't get the long run in. But the long runs are so incredibly important when we're doing RunDisney races. We have to keep doing the long runs. So every 5 to 6 weeks, there's a deload week. So you can factor that out and just bump everything up. Okay? The next one, believing soreness or pain after long runs is just part of the process. It's not. I went on a long run. Today's Tuesday. I did my long run on Sunday. Typically it's Sunday. And it was the longest run I have run in over a year. So I'm training for Chills and Thrills Challenge right now. I'm actually doing the 5K as well, but the training plan that I created, it's just Chills and Thrills because I'm going to walk the 5K, which I recommend that you do as well if you're doing these challenges. But I took time off last year after my 2024 RunDisney races. It just wasn't, life got lifey. It just wasn't in the cards for me to stay consistent with training, and I had no races. Okay, so I took some time off. Great. I also live in Las Vegas. It's hot in the summer. So took some time off. So this was my longest run in over a year, and it was 6.65 miles of running, and then plus a 10-minute warm-up, 10-minute cool down. So all in all, it was like 7.5 miles. I then went home. I was able to bathe Levi, my dog. For any of those who don't know, I have a soft-coated Wheaten Terrier named Levi. He's 11.5 years old, and one of Wheaten Terrier traits is they hate being groomed. It is a full body event for me to bathe and or groom him. I am in the bathtub with him. I am squatting down. I am leaning over for like 30 minutes. And I am drenched from head to toe because, like I said, it's a whole body event. I could do that after my long run because I wasn't sore. And then the next day, normally Mondays would be a rest day for me, but this week, Wednesday is a rest day for me. So I flip flopped and I did my cross training from Wednesday, moved it to Monday so that my Wednesday can be a rest day. And I went out and did a paced walk, 1 hour yesterday, and I did it again today. I didn't feel like doing speed work. So I did it again today. My calf muscles are fine. My quads are fine. My knees don't ache. It was like nothing ever happened. I practically could have gone out and done another long run. I didn't, but that's how my body felt. I forgot. I actually had to actively think back, when was my long run this week? Because my body otherwise is telling me I'm fine. Being sore and in pain, you don't have to be. It is not just part of the process. Find ways to rest and recover so that you feel good. My routine after any run, but especially a long run: stretching, foam rolling, massage gun, and my favorite, a hot Epsom salt bath. And I actually couldn't even take a hot Epsom salt bath this week because I'm out of town. I'm on vacation. It's been 4th of July, and we got out of the heat in Vegas. So I didn't have the ability to do a hot Epsom salt bath, and my legs still feel great because of the consistency and the slow buildup on those long runs. It it's possible. You don't have to have all that pain and soreness. And then using long runs to prove your fitness instead of building it. We're not proving anything week after week. Okay? It's checking the box. We're doing the thing. The race is the proof. The race, you'll have the new pace, the new mileage, all of that. Use your long run to build that fitness. Don't equate, oh, I'm a real runner because this long run felt great. Let it be neutral. Let it be a thing that you did. It's not good or bad. It's done. You're not proving that you're a real runner during these workouts. There's no proof of being a real runner. You get to call yourself a runner when you run. If you don't want to call yourself a runner, fine, no problem. You don't have to use that as part of your identity. But if you're trying to prove that you can do it by doing more, faster, harder, you're going to burn out, and the long run is not going to be sustainable. So as you're doing all of these things that I tell my runners to do instead of some of these mistakes, slow down. We talked about slowing your pace down. Use your run walk your run walk intervals strategically. Don't sprint during the run portion because you know that the walk portion is there for recovery. Yes, the walk portion is there for recovery, but still do an easy pace during the running portion. You're building longevity, not speed in this long run. That is what speed workouts are for. And I will talk about that on another day. Stick to the mileage build that's almost imperceptible to your body. It's so gradual, your body doesn't even know what's happening. Adding in and utilizing those deload weeks every 5 to 6 weeks for when life gets lifey, so you don't have to play catch up and make up all of the time. You just shift the workouts. Or if you have a history of injury, it helps your body adjust to the load and recover from all the miles you're putting on your body. And don't be afraid to reduce mileage or slow down if you're hurting. For a long run, no pace is too slow. I would rather my clients tell me, oh, I had to walk my long run today, than to tell me that they hit a new PR pace. I want to reverse PR. How slow can you go on your long run? That's how you build longevity for these long runs and for your running career in general. But how do you tell if your long runs are too much? So, a few red flags: if you have to take multiple days off to recover because you can barely move. Every time you get up from the couch, your knees are screaming at you. Don't even think about going up the stairs in the middle of the day. That is saved for nighttime only. If you're actively thinking like, oh my God, my body is just falling apart and you're spending days recovering, that's a red flag. If you're popping Advil like candy, that's a red flag. You groan every time you have to run. You should be enjoying this. This is supposed to be enjoyable. We started doing Run Disney races because we wanted to get in shape and we like Disney. That's usually why people are doing Run Disney races, right? Is that your reason? Tell me in the comments why you started doing Run Disney races. I started because my sister had been doing them for years and it just looked like so much fun. I could get a shirt and a medal with Olaf's face on it. Absolutely, please. I literally signed up for the 5K at Disneyland for this January because the theme is joy. That's it. I'm not doing any of the other races as of right now because I wanted the joy. I'm doing the Chills and Thrills challenge because of pain and panic. Let's be real. We're doing this for fun, not because we're trying to get on the podium. Questions to ask yourself to figure out if your long runs are too much. Are you building or are you just surviving? Like, are you doing this week after week and feeling like pretty good about yourself? Or are you, just gotta get it done? Oh, what can I do after to just get through the day after my run? That's survival. That's not building for the longevity of it. And, now that I've said all of these things, like, how could it actually work for you? I'll tell you a quick story about one of my clients who she did Dopey 2023 and she did fine. She completed all of the races. So that's a success, right? But she was wrecked after every long run. She was practically keeping KT tape in business. And after Dopey, she didn't run again until Princess Weekend because she was so over it. Fast forward to July of 2023, training for Dopey 2024. I outlined her plan. She saw it and she got nervous. She thought there was a typo. Her second run was 3.41 miles. And she's like, this can't be right. I just did 3.1. I'm only doing 3.41. And you only have me going up to 20 miles. We talked about building slowly, going for time as opposed to miles, and overall just doing it differently. Not only did she run all 4 races faster the next year, yes, marathon included, she asked me the Wednesday after marathon weekend if she could do more than what was on her schedule because she was ready to get back to princess training, a thought that had not even crossed her mind the year before. I mean, literally, she didn't do anything for the 9 weeks before, and now it's 3 days later, and she's raring to go because she felt so good. So it is possible implementing implementing these changes alone for the long run. That's not even including stretching, strength training, foam rolling, speed workouts, cross training, or other factors that go along with finishing a race. And then, I forgot to talk about what happens if you're in pain. So if you are in pain, pull back your pace first off. So we're talking long run. Pull back your pace. Remember, I talked about go snail's pace slow. If you're already going snail's pace slow, maybe walk. Another option, do the pace first. Pull that back first. Second option, if you're already doing that, second option is cut back the mileage and supplement with cross training. So the way I like to do it is whatever the long run is, let's say it's 5 miles and you can consistently run 3.5 miles without pain. Think about how long would it take me to do the other 1.5 miles Let's say we do a 15-minute per mile pace just for conversation's sake. So 15 minutes pace for 1.5 miles. That's like 23 minutes that mile and a half would have taken. Go and do cross training for 23 minutes to make up for it. Because remember, we're doing overall for time. So that's how this works. So that's one thing you could do. If you miss a long run, don't try and cram it in. Rebuild slowly. So repeat the week you missed and catch up on the next deload week. And reframe your goal. You're not trying to win the long run, you're trying to win the finish, meaning you're trying to cross that finish line. You're here for longevity. Long run should build confidence, not fear. You shouldn't dread the long run, and you shouldn't be miserable. Okay? You shouldn't dread it and you shouldn't feel miserable. Thank you so much for watching. If you are catching the replay, comment below with any questions you'd like me to address. I'm going to continue doing these live series so that you can get your questions answered and train without being miserable, without pain, and so that you can keep going. So see what I have planned for the next one. I think I'm going to do these once a month. Maybe if I'm really good, I could do every other week. But let's plan on once a month. All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, can I ask a quick favor? If you're enjoying this podcast, would you take 20 seconds to leave a rating and review? Leaving a rating and a review helps other runners find this podcast because the platform you're listening to this on will start suggesting it to runners like you. All it takes is 20 seconds. Thank you so much for supporting this podcast. As always, thanks so much for listening. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.